Absolutely, Melissa. Let's walk through Genesis 22:46 section by section, highlighting key events, lessons, and spiritual observations. This is a rich portion of scripture that follows the journey of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. So much to unpack. Genesis 22 to 46 overview and lessons. Genesis 22, Abraham tested. Summary. God asks Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. Abraham obeys, but God stops him and provides a ram. Lessons. Obedience and faith go hand in hand. God sometimes tests us to grow our faith. God is our provider. He provides what we need at the right moment. Genesis 23, Sarah's death and burial. Summary. Sarah dies at 127. Abraham purchases a burial site, the cave of Machpelah. Lessons. Abraham honored Sarah in death. Ownership of land in the promised land begins here by faith and legal transaction. Genesis 24, Isaac and Rebekah. Summary. Abraham sends his servant to find a wife for Isaac. Rebekah shows hospitality and is chosen. Lessons. God guides us through prayer and providence. Rebekah's humility and kindness made her a woman chosen by God. God honors the prayers of the faithful, even in everyday decisions. Genesis 25, Abraham dies, Jacob and Esau born. Abraham dies. Isaac and Rebekah have twins, Jacob and Esau. Esau sells his birthright. Lessons. God's plan unfolds across generations. Choices made in weakness, like Esau's hunger, can have lasting consequences. Genesis 26, Isaac's life. Summary. God blesses Isaac in famine. He repeats some of Abraham's mistakes, lying about Rebekah. God renews the covenant. Lessons. God remains faithful even when we falter. Like Abraham, Isaac had to claim God's promises for himself. Genesis 27, Jacob deceives Esau. Summary. Jacob tricks Isaac to receive Esau's blessing. Lessons. Deception causes division and pain. God still works through broken people, but there are consequences. Genesis 28, Jacob's dream. Summary. Jacob flees from Esau, dreams of a ladder reaching heaven. God affirms his covenant with him. Lessons. Even when we're running, God can meet us. Jacob begins to personally experience God's presence. Genesis 29 to 31, Jacob's time in Haran. Summary. Jacob works for Laban, marries Leah and Rachel, has children. God blesses him despite Laban's tricks. Lessons. What you sow, you may reap. Jacob deceived, now deceived. God can bless you even in unfair environments. God sees and remembers the overlooked, like Leah. Genesis 32, Jacob wrestles with God. Summary. Jacob prepares to meet Esau. He wrestles with God and is renamed Israel. Lessons. Struggles with God can lead to transformation. We receive strength when we cling to God. God often breaks us to bless us. Genesis 33, Jacob reconciles with Esau. Summary. Jacob and Esau reunite peacefully. Lessons. Forgiveness is possible even after deep betrayal. God can heal what seems broken beyond repair. Genesis 34, Dinah and the Shechemites. Summary. Dinah is violated. Her brothers take revenge violently. Lessons. Justice must be sought with wisdom, not rage. Family pain must be handled with God's guidance. Genesis 35, Jacob returns to Bethel. God calls Jacob back to Bethel. Rachel dies, giving birth to Benjamin. Isaac dies. Lessons. We must return to our spiritual foundations. God fulfills his promises through life and loss. Genesis 36, Esau's descendants. Summary. A genealogy of Esau's family. Lessons. God also blesses those outside the chosen line. Esau's people grew strong. God's promises to Abraham extended to his other children in worldly ways. Genesis 37, Joseph's dreams and betrayal. Summary. Joseph dreams of greatness. His brothers sell him into slavery. Lessons. Favoritism breeds division. Even betrayal can lead to God's bigger plan. Dreams from God often come with trials. Genesis 38, Judah and Tamar. Summary. A scandalous story of Judah's sin and Tamar's righteousness. Lessons. God works even through messy, broken people. Women in scripture sometimes show more righteousness than men. Jesus comes from this line. Grace is greater than shame. Genesis 39, Joseph and Potiphar's wife. Summary. Joseph prospers in Egypt, resists temptation, and is imprisoned unjustly. Lessons. Integrity may cost you, but it honors God. God is with us even in prison seasons. Genesis 40 to 41. Dreams in prison to palace. Summary. Joseph interprets dreams in prison. Eventually, he interprets Pharaoh's dream and becomes governor of Egypt. Lessons. God elevates the humble in his timing. Preparation in the pit leads to purpose in the palace. God uses our gifts to bless others and fulfill his purposes. Genesis 42 to 45. Joseph tests and forgives brothers. Summary. Famine brings Jacob's sons to Egypt. Joseph tests them and reveals himself, forgiving them. Lessons. Forgiveness is a mark of true faith. God turns evil intentions into saving purposes. Genesis 50:20. Reconciliation takes time but brings healing. Genesis 46. Jacob moves to Egypt. Summary. God tells Jacob not to fear moving to Egypt. The family is reunited. Lessons. God leads and confirms big transitions. Family restoration is part of God's blessing. Even in foreign places, God is faithful. Overall observations. 1. God keeps his promises, from Abraham to Jacob to Joseph. 2. People fail often, but God remains faithful. 3. Family dynamics are complex, but healing is possible. 4. Every detour can be part of your destiny when God is in control. 5. God speaks through dreams, visions, and divine encounters. Stay listening. Would you like me to help you make a visual timeline or printable notes for Genesis 22 to 46? Or would you like a devotional based on these chapters for your next week of Bible study?
I'll have them in the link below. Have a good day.